Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for those of you that are tuning in for the very first time and tuning into this video and have not yet subscribed to my channel. Please hit that red subscribe button as well as that notification bell icon. And when you hit the notification bell icon, make sure that you hit all so that way you can be notified of all notifications when I go live, when I post a new video, etc. That being said and done, I also wanted to announce that all of my readings are on sale right now. If you go to my website, it's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. This is for a limited time only. So if you missed out on my Black Friday sale back in 2019, this is your time to book your reading. So I'm going to get into Jessica Simpson. She has been in the spotlight. She has been... she came out recently. For those of you that don't know who Jessica Simpson is, she is, a singer. She is I would say an actress because she did have her show with Nick Lachey. She is a fashionista. She is a fashion designer. She is a jack of all trades. And I really, really like Jessica, and so this reading was requested by some of my fans, some of my rays of light out there, and I hope to give you insight on what I see. Now, for those of you that don't know, she did come out recently talking about her addictions to alcohol, pills. That's nothing new. I think a lot of people already knew that. And my heart goes out to her. I really do feel bad that, she had to go through this. When I tune into Jessica, I feel like she's always been this fragile girl. And I know that she's a woman now, but there's always been this fragility to her. And she reminds me so much of Britney Spears in the aspect that they grew up in front of the public eye. They grew up in the industry, and they had to go through a lot of things that people think, oh, well, because, it's so fun when you do a music video. Oh, you have money, your dad was the one helping you through all this, blah, blah, blah. But really and truly, we really don't know all the things that they actually go through, the hours that they have to spend in front of the camera, smiling even when they don't feel good. It's almost like putting on a facade and not being authentic. And when you are someone that's in the spotlight and you are a celebrity and you have to go through that, in some ways, I feel like it does play with your psychologically, it plays with the mind. And so I'm not saying that she, is mental, because I am not a doctor. I can't diagnose. But I do feel like she has suffered from a lot of this on the mental level. There has been some stress, I will say that, and unhealthy coping mechanisms, and this is all a result of the system of the machine, the machine that pushes them to make money. They get used to a certain lifestyle, and when you get when you get used to a certain lifestyle, you cannot necessarily change that. It becomes addicting, and you want more and more and more, whether this is booze or this is pills or this is just money and living, and having your hair extensions done and your hair done every 2 weeks, or getting your nails done daily, or going into a mansion, and having, servants or maids to help you, staff. That's kind of like the life that, Jessica has been immersed in. And I would say that she is a product of that, the materialism, the things in there, in the Hollywood, in the music industry, and she's changed from that. She's actually grown a lot. We've seen her grow up and come into her womanhood and be a mother, but it's not easy. Why did she choose to come out now, so publicly, even though a lot of people had already speculated or known about her issues? I feel like she's on the verge of something. Usually when celebs drop, big bombshells, they're about to, it's business. It's all about business. I feel like they're either going to announce something really huge coming. When I tune into her marriage, I will get into that immediately. I feel like this is not the picture perfect image. They have had hiccups apart from, what's put on media. I feel like they've spoken about it, how they've had close calls. I pick up a lot of infidelity. I'm not going to say who or whom's or who exactly in the relationship, but there has been a lot of infidelity, I feel. But sometimes, like I said, when there is money involved, people play a blind eye to their partner cheating on them, and they stay in that relationship because it is conducive to their lifestyle, it's beneficial, or because they have children involved. In Jessica's case, I feel like it's two parts. I feel like she has stayed in this relationship for her kids, but she's also stayed in it for the financial comforts. Now, yes, she's a millionaire. Yes, she has all this, but when you combine his income, because they make a lot of money. He's into sports, right? They make a lot of money as well. There's a symbiotic relationship that they both have with each other, but I don't feel like it's true love. And when I tune into her husband, I feel like he is very distant. The energy is very distant. So that tells me that there are problems. There is some manipulation in this relationship. There are hard times ahead. They're not going to last forever together. There is an ending for Jessica where she will move on to another person. So it's very interesting that she chose to come out with this. I feel like there's going to be more headlines over the next 4 years, and I do see eventually that they will split up, and I feel like it's going to be her reaching a breakdown, or reaching a point where she no longer feels like there is a connection or a bond. Like I said, when I tune into their personal life, I feel like there's a lot of issues already going on. People being caught with communications, possibly sexual, etc. So again, these are things that we're not going to necessarily hear about until they're ready to disclose them, but this is something that's coming forth from spirit. And I also see her feeling like she's walking away from this eventually when she does, almost like with her head down and feeling kind of defeated, but also good at the same time. I mean, she is a mogul, she does have her money in her career. Will she ever go back to making albums or music? I feel like she will. I feel like she eventually will do some kind of music in the future. But for right now, I feel like she's comfortable being a mom. And I see, that she has fulfillment on many levels. She has reaching the dream, but there's still this fragile part of Jessica that will play with her mind, and it has to do with her body image. To me, she needs validation, and she has looked towards her relationships for the love or the void for love, and to fill the void that she feels within herself. At the end of the day, I don't feel like she feels like she's perfect. There's a lot of obsession of standing in front of a mirror, not liking certain outfits, not liking certain camera angles. These are the things that I feel like she struggles with, and it's hard because I don't know if people call this body dysmorphia, but a lot of people that suffer from this condition, they don't see themselves as being pretty enough. There's always a condition, or there's always problems the way that we see ourselves, rather how the world sees us. The way that the world sees us is entirely different, and this is all in the mind. And that's what I see with her. I feel like she's not going to make any abrupt changes right now, but there is a lot weighing on her. What is a new direction? What does Jessica want right now? And for me, it's like the alcohol and the pills and all that she publicly came out with. These are unhealthy coping mechanisms, because sometimes when we see things in our relationships falling apart, there's no other way but to deal with it that way. There's other ways to deal with it. I should reverse that and scratch that. There are healthy ways to deal with it, seeking out a counselor, seeking out therapy. But then there are certain people that are afraid, because when you're a celebrity, there's a lot of people looking at you and looking at your career and wanting to basically tear you apart and make money off of you. And so that's why I feel like she has kind of bottled a lot of her emotions over the years, and it's become an unhealthy coping mechanism. And this is what led her eventually to drinking and that lifestyle. But I do commend her, because it takes a lot of bravery to to come out and talk about that publicly. I do feel though that there are struggles with transparency. So there's a lot that she still hasn't revealed. There's a lot of things that I feel like she won't reveal. That she has done as well. Now she did say, and it, for the record, a lot of people have documented that she said that Nick Lachey was her first intimate relationship, and I don't see that. But again, that's her telling that to the public, etc. So I mean, I don't see that, and I'm not saying that she didn't have other types of experiences before him, but again, I see a lot of lies, a lot of cover-ups, a lot of facades around Jessica, and I do feel like someone is going to blackmail her and is going to leak some information that eventually is going to come out, that she doesn't want to. So she's going to have to be the first one to come out and fully be transparent, because at this point I don't feel at the soul level when I tune into Jessica Simpson that she is being entirely transparent. And I'm that psychic that I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, and just because I like Jessica, I'm not going to bite my tongue and tell and say just nothing but pleasantries about her, because she is ultimately a good woman. She is a beautiful soul, but we all have our flaws, and I think the public, those that are awoken spiritually, can see that there are definitely some lies. There is a path that she has taken that is more of cover-ups and more of lies and scandals. She doesn't owe us anything, any of that information. It's none of our business in the first place to know. But since she has already come out, it's kind of like she's made it our business in many ways, because she came out, stating the obvious with her drug, well, I'm not going to say drug, but her pills and her alcohol, which are like drugs, really, when you think about it. Those problems, that she's facing, but I feel like that's not even begun to scratch the surface of how deep all of this goes. Like, I don't know if she also has contemplated like self-harm at some point, but I feel like there is a lonely path when it comes to her relationships. Yes, she was with Nick Lachey. Actually, when I look into her soul, I actually feel like Nick Lachey, and this is what Spirit is saying as well to validate, Nick Lachey was her soulmate. This guy that she's with right now, that's not her soulmate. I don't feel like, even though they had kids together, this is a karmic relationship that they both had in a past life, and it's replaying. They got a chance to come into this physical world and be together in this lifetime and try to work on those issues. But sadly, I feel like it is still repeating. There's a lot of pull and tug, a lot of pain, a lot of happy moments, yes, but a lot of pain. And on his part, her husband, the one pictured here, he's a good guy, but I also feel like he is looking for love and attention somewhere else. I also feel like he struggles with his health. I feel like there's unhealthy coping mechanisms for himself. I do feel like he is, kind of like just whatever, like do whatever you want, and that's kind of like the and he has his own life, his own set of friends. I don't feel like she necessarily approves of all of them. I do feel like there have been some of his team players or friends that have made passes at Jessica, or have actually made innuendos and things like that. There's a lot of things that go on between guys where they kind of joke and they play things that Jessica's probably not aware of, that she will eventually find out about. But there are, like, I see like just a lot of negativity around this relationship, and it's unfortunate because they do have a family right now. I mean, for him, I feel like in many ways he has lived, but his prana feels very weak, and that's the life energy. I feel like he's depleted. He is going through something physically apart from what we see. I don't know, but I feel like this is a health condition, and I honestly feel like it is something that is going to be kind of where he needs to take it seriously. he's a little older, if I'm not mistaken, than Jessica. But whatever the case is, I feel like he needs to take it very, very seriously, because when I tune into him, I feel like there's still a lot of numbness, a lot of emotions that he hasn't dealt with. Does he love Jessica is the question. Yeah, I feel like there is definitely some love. But even in love, there is no such thing as the perfect relationship. And I feel like even though they have come together and this is a karmic relationship, there is a lot of temptations. And those are the things that, that we don't know, but they have, allowed as couples, as adults into their life. I see, Jessica moving. There is a move. I don't know if they're planning on moving from where they live to another home, but there is a lot of decision making. And this year, I feel like there may be some kind of loss for her, something that she may have wanted, and it's an opportunity missed. I also feel like this could be around her dad and her mom. Some family issues that they're going through, and she wants to help them, but at the same time, I feel like it's something that she really can't kind of do, because she has her own life already that she is focused on. And I see in the future 2 other men that are interested in already communicating, if they haven't already flirted with Jessica. And I don't know to the extent, but one of these men has a lot of money, and I feel like they both are brunettes. They both have brown hair. As far as the eye color, it feels like it is a brown eye color. One of these men is much younger than Jessica, and it is somebody that has feelings for her. It's not John Mayer, for those of you that are maybe tuning in. It's not him. It's not Nick Lachey. These are 2 new guys completely that have the hots for Jessica, and I honestly feel like there is going to be some kind of communication. So apart from her husband and all of the things that are going on in their marriage, there is a lot. The one that is kind of more spiritual, the younger one, is the one that she needs to be careful with, because I feel like there is an entrapment of sorts, and that person using her in some kind of way to get clout or to kind of move ahead in their careers. I don't feel like the younger one is very much established the same way that Jessica is and her husband is in their career. I feel like she knows these people, but just doesn't really know them well, but maybe has met them through a public greeting, etc. And I also see her continue to work hard, but there is a crossroads, and this year, that is coming up, and she's going to have to decide. I feel like she has already thought about, what if I leave this marriage? What do I do? Will I be strong enough to be a mom, and be able to support my kids? Will we be able to co-parent? She has had those questions and things that have come up, and I do feel like she has reached out to either a psychic or a spiritual advisor that has given her that kind of information, that she has sought. But it's sometimes we need to hear it over and over and over again until it sinks in and we make that initiative. What is holding Jessica back in her career? Like, I feel, honestly, she could have been way more successful. Not that she's not. I'm not throwing shade or anything, because she has her accolades and no one can take that away from her. But I honestly feel like she could have been a bigger superstar and bigger in the music and everything, had she had the right people around her, and also had she kind of like not gotten into these relationships, because these relationships ultimately deterred her. And even though her children are a blessing, and I see her being mama bear and always being there for her kids, I feel like there is a lot of danger as well, as who they let into their social circle, who they let into their home. Cycles repeat, and I feel like if she's not careful with her parenting and with her issues that she has, that her children, one of them at least, is going to be affected in some kind of way, because children are very intuitive in what they see. They tend to absorb that, and it affects them in adulthood. And that's all I have to say about Jessica Simpson. I really wish her all the best, and I can't wait to see her new projects and root her and support her as a fan. But I just hope that she kind of sits with, a lot of the things that she has already thought about. A lot of the things that I have mentioned, I know that she's thought about this. These are things that are unspoken, and basically she needs to take the initiative and be more transparent, because there's a lot of things that she's not talking about, and like I said, she doesn't owe us that, but everything that is in the darkness eventually comes to the light. There's going to be a reason for this, and I feel it's like so she can be a stronger version of herself, and not only that, but not be dependent on a relationship to make her happy, because ultimately I feel like that's what this relationship is all about. A codependent behavior that is kind of her source of happiness. Having someone on her shoulder saying that she is married is kind of like, it validates her as a woman, and she doesn't need a person, she doesn't need anyone to validate her. She is her own power. She is her own goddess. And that's what she needs to really focus on. So, yeah, I wish all the best to Jessica and her husband and her beautiful children and the family. I hope, everything turns out good. Her sister, I didn't even cover on Ashley. I believe that's her sister's name, if I'm not mistaken. But, that's something entirely different. I didn't want to go into all of her family, but focus on the real tea that I see and the spiritual insight. So I want to thank you, all my rays of light, for tuning in. If you did like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Like I said, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to book a private reading, go to my website. It's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing, amazing day or night wherever you are in the world.